Welcome back to STL Live. I'm Sarah Bernard. I'm here with Cynthia Garnholz and Cynthia Albin of the Center for Family Law. We've been talking about divorce today and how it's changing and how people can prepare. And Cynthia, one of the topics I'm sure that is front and center is custody and child arrangements. What is new, different, changing in that area of family law today?
I think custody is ever evolving as far as in the divorce process, but one of the things that I've seen in the 20 years that I've practiced is really a move towards more of an equal split of time between the two parents, whereas long ago there was an assumption that really moms would get more time than dads. Mm-hmm. And now we really, most judges and most people look at, whether they do it by agreement or most judges say that absent any kind of significant issue with a parent, that the parents would split, the kids would split their time between the two parents. Mm-hmm. And there are a variety of schedules that people use, whether it's alternating weeks or dividing the week itself up and alternating the weekends. But that's really what has evolved so much in recent history.
And in terms of the schedule, it depends on the parents and their schedules? It
depends on the parents and it depends on the kids. And it depends also on the ages of the kids. Mm-hmm. Some older kids, I think that very often parents will look at doing more of an alternating week kind of schedule. Younger kids, that may not be the best schedule mm-hmm. for them, and breaking up the week more so that they're not missing out on time with not being away from one parent or the other for such a long period of time as 7 days. So mm-hmm. it really does depend on the family itself.
Mm-hmm. And Cynthia Garnholz, another topic that is probably new in your profession is the whole social media. And how does social media presence affect what you're trying to get done with the divorce proceedings in the office?
It affects it hugely. Mm-hmm. And people need to be aware of how important their presence on social media can be in their divorce process. And they need to be aware that their postings, if they're making any at all, should be very generic, no party pictures, no denigrating comments about the other spouse. This negative presence on social media, whether it be Twitter or particularly Facebook, can be and often is introduced into evidence and is used, can be used against you in a very negative way. So I would say stop. Stop using social media.
So just stay off for a while.
Stay off.
Mm-hmm.
And don't allow your children to use it if you can, or monitor their use, mm-hmm. because that also can be used against a parent who isn't monitoring and a child is perhaps engaging in some inappropriate interactions in social media.
So how would that affect the parent? So so one parent might say, well, the other parent's not closely supervising when you're, mm-hmm. When she's with you or that kind of thing, and you see that as evident on Facebook?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So is it something that when you sit down with clients from the very first meeting, you're giving them advice in this area?
The very first meeting. Mm-hmm. And in fact, we have, we give them a document outlining the dangers of using social media and giving them our advice that they should probably stop using.
And will people do that?
I hope so. I can only hope.
Right, exactly. Makes your job a lot easier, I'm sure. So, go ahead.
No, I was just going to add to that when you talk about how that can affect the custody, having pictures of yourself out partying, out in bars when there may be allegations of alcohol abuse or substance abuse. Those are the types of things and the ways that can be used against you. You're out over a weekend that you had the children, or you're posting pictures of the children that are not appropriate. So all of that can be used against a parent when looking at the custody schedule.
Right. So if you were to give a person one piece of advice who's thinking about divorce, what would that be?
One piece of advice thinking about divorce. Well, I would say look at the long term. Mm-hmm. You are going to have a relationship with your spouse for the rest of your life if you have children together. Mm-hmm. So the goal here is to maintain as amicable a relationship as the two of you can possibly have in the best interest of your children and your grandchildren and so on.
Very good. Thank you both for coming in. The Center for Family Law is where you can get all your answers. To learn more from them and about them, please visit them at thecenterforfamilylaw.com. There's more STL Live after this. Stay with us.